Roman Reigns is without question the most dominant superstar in WWE today. He's held the Universal Championship for over 1,000 days and has successfully defended it against all challengers. Along the way, he led his own faction known as the Bloodline, which includes his cousins, the Usos, and his advocate, Paul Heyman. But did you know that Roman almost didn't make it to WWE? And if he did, he probably wouldn't have become a top star? Keep watching to find out why. This is the real reason why Roman Reigns left WWE in 2010. Before becoming the WWE Universal Champion, Roman was a football player by trade. In high school, he was a standout performer at the prestigious St. Louis High School in Honolulu, Hawaii. While there, he played both offense and defense and earned several accolades, including being named Defensive MVP of the Year. And because of this, he earned a scholarship at the University of Georgia. But after his freshman year, he left the team due to homesickness and returned to Hawaii to attend the University of Miami. Again, he was a standout player and received several honors, including being named to the All-Big East second team. And these accomplishments caught the eye of NFL scouts, and ultimately, he was signed by the Canadian Football League's Edmonton Eskimos in 2007. However, a shoulder injury derailed his career, causing him to be released by the team only a few months later. But during his time playing football, Roman discovered something. He told ESPN, "I love performing. I love that aspect of it. I just didn't love the lifestyle, not being able to see my family, being away from home. So when I got hurt and didn't have to do that anymore, it was kind of like, now what?" It was at this point that Roman realized he had to follow in his family's footsteps and pursue professional wrestling. You see, Roman was born into a very famous wrestling family. His father, Leati Anoa'i, was a WWE Hall of Famer who also performed as part of the Wild Samoans. And he was trained by his father and his uncle, Afa Anoa'i, along with many others. Some of his other famous relatives include Yokozuna, Rikishi, The Rock, and more. But even though he had an entire family tree full of superstars, Roman wasn't interested. Instead, he wanted to forge his own path. He said, "When I grew up, I didn't want to be a wrestler. Wrestling was something my family did, and that's all. I always knew I wanted to play football." But after hanging up his cleats, Roman was ready to give wrestling a try. In 2008, he made his debut as Leati Joseph Anoa'i at a Florida Championship Wrestling show. And he continued to hone his skills while getting the occasional dark match on WWE's main roster. But he wasn't yet ready for prime time, and it would be 2 years before he got his big break. On the November 2010 episode of NXT, it was announced that the Nexus would be taking on Team WWE in a 10-10 elimination match at Survivor Series. And although the match itself wasn't important, one person would steal the show. That's because on the same night, Roman made his official main roster debut as part of Team WWE. And he went on to eliminate David Otunga, Michael McGillicuddy, and Skip Sheffield before being eliminated himself by Wade Barrett. Many people were shocked by how dominant he was, and it seemed like he might actually go on to win the match. Unfortunately, he ended up on the losing side. But it didn't matter. Roman had arrived, and the fans were ready to accept him. But sadly, this would be the last time they saw him for almost 3 years. After his impressive showing at Survivor Series, Roman was pulled from WWE programming. And the reason why had nothing to do with his performance or anything he did wrong. In fact, it was quite the opposite. You see, WWE called Roman to the office and explained that they needed him to take time off to develop his character and improve his overall game. He told ESPN, "I was so frustrated. It was the complete opposite of what I expected. I thought I was going to get an award for doing such a good job. Instead, I was getting chastised." And according to Roman, this wasn't a one-time occurrence. He was routinely called into the office and told to take more time off. He said that kept happening over and over again. And then I was sent back down to FCW. I was starting to lose interest. I didn't know what the plan was. Felt like I had a lot to prove, like I could go out there and perform and help out the company. I felt like I was in a position to do some things. But WWE officials continued to tell him to take more time, and that they would call him when they were ready to bring him back. And that drove me nuts, Roman added. As a result, Roman became disengaged, and he stopped working hard, began skipping shows and parties, and even nudged to schedule a match against Big E, and because of this, he was suspended and fined. To make matters worse, his father passed away, and he found himself spiraling out of control. But during this time, he found solace in one place, the gym. He told ESPN it was an outlet. It was something I could control. It was something I could excel at and have some sort of normalcy in my life. When everything else was failing me, that was still there. It was like, okay, maybe I can't control what's going on in my personal life, but I can control how I look, how I feel about myself. Eventually, WWE officials reached out to him and invited him back to the company. But because of his actions, he was suspended indefinitely. Roman was given one last chance to prove himself, and this time, he wouldn't waste it. On April 2013, he made his return to the ring and defeated several enhancement talents. And throughout the summer, he continued to rebuild his reputation and work on improving his in-ring skills. Then on November, he made his official return to WWE's main roster as the mysterious third member of The Shield alongside Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. The group immediately made an impact and helped change WWE forever. They went on to win the WWE Tag Team Championships and cement themselves as one of the greatest trios of all time. And each member would go on to become a world champion. But Roman's rise to superstardom was just beginning. In early 2016, WWE introduced a new championship, the WWE Universal Championship, and Roman was selected to be the inaugural champion. He went on to defend the title against the likes of Rusev, Big Cass, and even The Undertaker. But in late 2017, Brock Lesnar would enter the picture and defeat Roman at WrestleMania 34 to win the Universal Championship. Now, many people believe that this was the turning point in Roman's career. That's because after dropping the title, he disappeared once again. But this time it was for a legitimate reason. You see, Roman was diagnosed with leukemia, and he vacated the Universal Championship shortly after. He told ESPN, "I never thought I would be forced to relinquish a championship because of my health. For me, it was like I failed. But thanks to treatment and the support of his family, he was able to go into remission." Then, on February 25, 2018, Roman made his triumphant return and aligned himself with SmackDown Live Commissioner Shane McMahon. Together, they took over the blue brand and went on to face off against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 35. Now, although Roman came up short, he didn't stay down for long. On August 11th, he captured the WWE Universal Championship for the second time after defeating Brock Lesnar. Ever since then, he's been on a tear. Went on to defend the title against the likes of Daniel Bryan, Braun Strowman, The Fiend, and Edge, and in the process, proved that he deserves to be considered one of WWE's greatest champions of all time. He's currently on his 5th year-long reign as champion, and there doesn't seem to be anyone capable of dethroning him. Of course, there will always be challengers, but Roman seems prepared to take them all on. With his loyal faction, the Bloodline, by his side, it doesn't seem like anyone will be able to stop him anytime soon. And if he continues his current pace, he'll be considered the greatest champion of all time. Now check out this video and find out what happened to the Usos after The Rock betrayed them. Or click this other video instead.